All right, I'm at the air gas store and I decided to pick up something for our preserving food. And I've looked at a couple different options. They have these tanks of CO2. You've heard of people probably using dry ice, which is when it evaporates, it turns into carbon dioxide. But you can also buy these tanks. But those medium-sized tanks right there, those are 20-pound tanks, and they're $134. But I decided it was actually much more cost-effective to actually get nitrogen tanks, and they're some of the bigger tanks that you have over here. And they have different sizes of nitrogen too. They have 40 cubic foot, 80 cubic foot, and 125 cubic foot. So what I chose to do was go ahead and get the 125 cubic foot, and this only costs 45 bucks to refill, but more than likely this will last me a decade or more. And I'll do some calculations to try to show you the difference of, using these 5-gallon buckets and the Mylar bags. But the reason why I went with nitrogen instead of carbon dioxide, well, one, our air has 78% nitrogen in it. And so this is much safer. It's also heavier than normal air, and so when you're trying to fill up a bucket, you fill from the bottom, and it purges out the 20% of the air. And then if you use the oxygen absorber on top of that, you just actually have an overall better product. But some of these other things, I'll show you the different options, but this is the one that I've settled on. Now, some of the other things you're going to need are a regulator. And I ordered a special gauge to go with this, because you have the 2500 psi roughly is what your tank is going to be, and that's the inside red scale. And then you want to have a low pressure gauge. So this was a special order because we're going to be using just a few psi, very small amount. So you wanted to be able to see how much gas you're putting into your cans. The other thing you're going to need is we call this a barb fitting. And this side right here goes onto the tank, and then this side I'll be replacing with the barb fitting. And then I can take any kind of hose you get from Home Depot. Because it's low pressure, it's nothing critical about that. And then lastly, you'll need a bracket for your tank to mount on the wall. And I'll show this completely or I'll show you completed, and I'll show you how to use this, but it's fairly simple. Now, I spent a little bit of money. You can get smaller tanks, but I kind of just wanted to do things one time and not have to come back and refill often. So the thing I bought, I probably won't have to refill in a long time. But I also have an oxygen acetylene tank, and it, same thing. Every once in a while, I got to bring it in and get it refilled. But this is a much more effective way to do it. And dry ice isn't something just laying around. So, if the world ended, where are you going to get your dry ice? In this case, I've got a tank where I can reseal things. And I'm also going to show you, I got a seam sealer and everything as well. So this is just a little heads up of what's coming. It's kind of a neat thing to come over to these stores. They'll walk you through the process. And I'll put this all in this description, how I'm trying to work it out. All right, I hope you're having a great day. I hope everybody's treating you well. God bless.